So, former President Donald Trump has crushed his opponents in an overwhelming landslide victory in the Iowa Republican caucuses on Monday. This victory is considered by those who haven't been paying attention or who just aren't politically savvy as one of the most astonishing comebacks in American politics. For example, as CNN's Stephen Collinson put it, former President Donald Trump's huge win in the Iowa caucuses on Monday enshrines one of the most astonishing comebacks in American political history. Losing one-term presidents almost never mount subsequent successful primary campaigns, much less pull off landslides that demonstrate utter dominance of their party. He went on to say that the ex-president's rebound is more stunning for another reason. He won despite 91 criminal charges and other legal entanglements that threatened his freedom and his fortune. In a head-spinning snapshot of the unprecedented times, he's expected to show up in a courtroom in Manhattan on Tuesday morning for the opening of a defamation trial. Now, Stephen's surprise is either because he's severely naive, or he's just espousing the propaganda that his network has become known for. This shouldn't be something that's considered surprising, and certainly not a comeback. This race has, for the GOP nomination, always been his to lose. Trump's supporters have never left. They've never stopped believing in him. The obvious answer as to why this is so, by the way, is easy. As CNN's Stephen Collinson mentioned, the 91 criminal charges and legal entanglements are one of the primary reasons why Donald Trump supporters are so locked in. They don't care about these charges. They don't amount to a hill of beans to his supporters. In fact, it is only reinforced in their minds that he is the victim in all of this. Anyone who hasn't lived under a rock for the past 8 years has watched the get Trump, get Trump, get Trump crowd fall further and further into Trump derangement syndrome. I mean, come on, it's been nothing but allegations, impeachment attempts, and a never-ending stream of innuendo from his political rivals, not to mention the mainstream media piling on to all of this. The biggest mistake the left has made here was, after having successfully removed him from office, instead of just letting him ride off into the sunset, they instead solidified his support by intensifying their efforts to imprison and ruin him and his family, as well as anyone else who has done business with him. The reality is, the USA has never been a banana republic. Most Americans find it repugnant to go after political opponents after they have been defeated. That's just not what the USA has been about in the past. The actions by the lunatic fringe on the left has done one thing. It has kept Donald Trump at the forefront of everyone's minds. And this has only deepened the loyalty of his supporters. This doesn't even address those who weren't Trump fans, but who see all of this as a bit unfair, not to mention America in a free fall, as totalitarian actions from our government leaders with their Orwellian mandates these past 4 years, and the corporate fascism engaged in by media and social network outlets in eliminating speech. And of course, there's the border crisis and the crumbling economy. All of these things are sounding the alarm for a large portion of the American people. Now, Stephen from CNN does get raw and honest for a moment. He wrote this. He called it a victory heard around the world, and said that Trump's win makes the long theoretical prospect that he could win the White House a far more direct possibility. Barring some unforeseen event, his dominance in Iowa shows the extreme difficulty any of his remaining rivals will have of keeping him off the Republican ticket, and recent polls have shown him highly competitive and even ahead of Biden in the handful of swing states that will decide the destiny of the White House. And Stephen is right about this. In the Iowa caucus, Donald Trump claimed 51% of the vote, which, by the way, is the biggest win in caucus history, putting him on course for his third consecutive nomination. His remaining rivals are a distant second and third. You've got Florida Governor Ron Desantis, who came in second with 21.2% of the vote, and former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley coming in with 19.1% of the vote. Trump won 98 of 99 counties in Iowa and was just one vote shy of taking all 99 counties. Trump's overwhelming victory in Iowa is significant because it sends the unmistakable message to the Republican Party that the nomination is Trump's to lose. It's hard to deny that now. His victory in the Iowa Republican caucuses is historic. To give you an idea of how big Trump's margin of victory here was, the previous record for the largest margin of victory in an Iowa caucus was by Bob Dole in 1988, and he won by 12.8 percentage points. Trump's victory, on the other hand, was nearly 4 times that, demonstrating a level of dominance rarely seen in the Iowa caucuses. But don't get too worried, my friends. The spin masters were out in force trying to reframe this Trump victory as anything but. For example, as J.B. Pritzker, a Biden campaign surrogate, said on MSNBC, he claimed that Donald Trump's performance at the Iowa caucuses is showing the weakness of Donald Trump. You heard that right. He said, this is the most famous Republican. He is the guy who, basically built the modern Republican Party, the MAGA Republican Party that Democrats are running against. And half the people in that party didn't vote for Donald Trump. I think that is telling. It tells you the weakness of Donald Trump and also the opportunity for Democrats because, in the end, if the base doesn't turn out for Donald Trump in the general election enthusiastically and Democrats turn out its base, this is all about, independents. And independents don't like Donald Trump. So I think we're in a pretty good place tonight to see what's happening on the Republican side. See, nothing to worry about here. So there we have it, my friends. The political season of 2024 is now officially underway, and with Iowa under his belt, Trump's remaining opponents have now dwindled to the only real contenders left as Desantis and Nikki Haley, as Vivek Ramaswamy has now suspended his campaign. And that, my friends, will bring our episode to a close once more. As always, my friends, thank you for joining me on the To Be Frank show. I am Adrian, and I will see you all next time.